Hi everyone. Okay. Um, Hi. Thank you so much for tuning in to our second ever Instagram Live. Before we start, I want to say that if you're interested in finding out more information about TCV, you can visit our website. Hi. You can visit our website at tnconservationvoters.org. And there you can sign up for our weekly legislative updates and action alerts, and you can stay in the loop. And also, as a reminder, TCV is hosting two webinars. This is really exciting next week on the Tennessee General Assembly. It's just kind of a 101, see what you know, learn about the basics of the Tennessee General Assembly. So you can visit our Instagram bio or the Facebook page to find a sign up link for that. And without further ado, let's get started. Today, we're talking to Everett Davis. He is a new board member of TCV. He has a MS in sustainability and is currently the sustainability coordinator at Music City Center. He also has experience in energy efficiency, environmental compliance, field research, and mountain guiding. So we are going to connect with him now. Let's see. I'm just waiting for him. Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
Okay. So thank you for being here. We're really excited to have you. Is there anything that you want to say just to start off about being a board member? Anything you're excited about in this role?
Well, I'm really excited to be a part of Tennessee Conservation Voters. You all have, seems like you're positioning yourselves and we're positioning ourselves to be a network and community for people for education and just trying to bridge those communities together. I think that's so important, especially in our local area. So I'm just excited to grow that community and grow those connections between different organizations that want to be a part of what we are passionate about.
Yeah, it's really important. I feel like that connection between education and conservation and all of that stuff. So what led you to wanting to work with environmental issues in the environmental uh,
Yeah, so I was a mountain guide a few years ago. I was a mountain guide, and I think just obviously being immersed in nature, but really when when you start thinking about environmental issues, it's tied to so many other things. It's tied to money. It's tied to social issues. And when I started to see that, whether it be with mountain guiding or later with my master, you just cannot not think about those things. And almost any issue, you can point back to something in that triad of people, planet, profit, which is kind of what sustainability is. And so becoming passionate about that scope and lens of thinking is really just something that has happened slowly for me over time. But it probably started with mountain guiding.
yeah,
So
the love of nature.
love
Uh,
nature.
yeah. So, I wanted to ask you, so what do you think, or why do you think it's important for young people to be involved in the political process? And is there any advice you would have for young people who like want to be involved, but we're just not sure how?
Yeah. Well, I think that Tennessee Conservation Voters is a really good place to start because we're trying to be a kind of a hub for how you can get involved in state. So I think that that's a good place to start, just as far as educating yourself, learning about what bills are going to the floor, what the priorities are, what kind of officials are thinking they want to move with or not, and why. Um, so being informed is probably one. And then ways to get is vote. Voting
Yeah.
is really important. So learn uh, when you can vote, where to vote, for who you want to vote for, and why. And with that informed um, outlook, and then also all the community groups. I mean, TCV, we have member organizations, Sierra Club, to, name, there's a few, and you can get involved with those organizations under the umbrella of the general push for environmental advocacy. That's what I would say. But
Can you speak a little bit to like the power of state involvement in our like state legislative, federal, like how that's more effective sometimes?
yeah, I mean, I think, and I am definitely, I could be accused of this for sure, of thinking federal, federal, federal,
Yeah.
and really trying to say like, oh, it's so important to think about our federal elections and our federal government. And it is, 100% is. But I just think that state can be so overlooked. Um, and that's pretty recent for me, I would say.
Yeah.
It's meeting Stuart Clifton, and he's a lobbyist for TCV. Um, and just hearing him talk and learn about his side of things and learning from other people. My wife, she's an intern at the ACLU of Tennessee, and like learning about all that. State is so important, and it's the puzzle pieces that make the whole. And if you can help influence a puzzle piece, then maybe the whole can look a little different. Kind of
Yeah.
that grassroots up change rather than trickle down change.
Well, trying to tackle like an entire country, like federal system problems, it can be very overwhelming. I know, like personally, as a young, that kind of, I feel less invested in the big picture stuff because it just feels so hard to change. But with
Right.
like state policy and stuff, it feels a little more accessible for, you as like a citizen of your state. So,
Yeah.
uh, is there anything that you feel like has been like a pitfall or like a struggle while you've been trying to advocate for environmental issues, just maybe in your career or just your working for TCV? Anything?
Well, unfortunately, environmental issues has become a partisan
Hmm.
issue, and science, I would say in general, has become a partisan view. And I oh, sorry. Oh, there you
Sorry, I
go.
don't know what
Okay.
happened.
Uh, so I think that those are kind of the two biggest things that you'll always run into is that personal and political beliefs can come in the way of enacting environmental change. And the way that I've learned to cope with that and mitigate that is to hear the person out. And because it's always personal, unfortunately, it's always a personal relationship or situation. Hear that person out and then work with them and address their concerns of, okay, well, are you concerned more with the financial side of things? And because of our location and because of our demographic in Nashville and in Tennessee, that's generally a lot of what I have run into is that people are very concerned with the financial part. But luckily, if you think creatively and you think of ways to show them that our our fight or our what we want to work towards can be profitable, then that's when you can kind of meet the middle and go, I'm on your side too. We're all in this together. And this is not a partisan issue. This is an issue, and this is a world issue. So
Yeah. That's really powerful. Yeah, that's really powerful. Like this is a human issue. Like we all are going to be affected by
yeah,
the all live in the environment. It doesn't have anything to do with what side you're on. Like we all participate in the same world. So,
yeah,
um, thank you for that answer. That was really great. So I wanted to ask kind of like a little bit, just one question about what it's like to be the sustainability coordinator. Kind of what does it mean for a business to be sustainable, and like how can we maybe identify businesses to support that are sustainable?
sure. So the question was just about my job, and then
Kind of just any of that.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so MCC, Music City Center, I'm their sustainability coordinator, and that is kind of a whirlwind of a job in that, we have 30,000 person events come in, and it's kind of chaotic for a week. And the goal is to somehow make that a sustainable environment, which is really tough when it's not kind of an ongoing operation with the same people. I mean, tons of different people come into the building every week. Obviously, right now it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Um, but in general, that's what it looks like. So my role in that is working with private businesses, organizations, whoever the client is coming into Music City Center. And that looks like lessening waste, making use of our rainwater capture system on the building, making use of our solar system on the solar collection on the building. Um, any way to make the event more sustainable. We just passed about a month ago. We passed something called the Green Partner Program, which is kind of cool. And so now events can come, and if they want to commit to sustainability initiatives, they can become a Music City Green Partner, and we work with them on making their event as sustainable as possible. So that's kind of what I do with Music City Center. As far as businesses, I mean, it looks different for everybody and everything. Um, as I said before, I mean, sustainability is three things: it's people, planet, profit. And in order for something to be sustainable, it needs to be good for the environment, it needs to be profitable, and it needs to be good for people. So you take that lens and you apply it to businesses, it can look totally different depending on
Sorry,
what's
my
going on.
doorbell.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna move because I think my sorry.
No, that's fine. Do what you gotta do.
Okay. So I just have one last question. This is kind of a more fun question. I don't if you have an answer to this. Okay, now I'm just like sitting there.
No,
This is
you're fine.
what it's like to be live. Great. Good stuff. Okay. So I was gonna ask if you had so we just wrote an article, Kendall and I, about 5 books to read for just while we're staying at home because we have more time to do stuff like that. And it's up on our website right now. So we wanted to ask you if you had a book recommendation. It doesn't have to be environmental or anything. It can be, but also just something that you are reading right now.
Yeah. Well, I got two kind of really good. So I hope you don't mind me taking two. Also, I saw someone asked about. I'll just go back.
Yeah,
Let me
answer
put.
any. People can ask questions also. Yeah.
Um, do we publicize to the public when a group commits to being a green partner? Yes, we do. Because it's so new. Honestly, the reason why we haven't is because of COVID-19. If Corona wasn't a thing, then we would probably have a press release out by now. So it's official, but unfortunately, the timing when I got it instated was right when Corona was ramping up, and so it's there. It's a program, but it's not being utilized right now because of obvious reasons. But it'll get there. But just to answer that question.
Yeah. If anyone else has questions, obviously, please ask them.
Mm. Yeah, as far as books, kind of my two go-to. One of my, if you want something more narrative focused but still environmental, which I really enjoy, it's called The Forest Unseen.
Okay.
Wait, hang on, I wrote down the author, David George Haskell. I always forget his middle name, George. David George Haskell. But that book is awesome, and it's actually about old growth Tennessee forests. And
Oh
what he
wow.
does is he observes the forest for a year, and it's all about observation, so he notes changes, but it's written very poetically,
Hmm.
which is really kind of romantically. I really like it. So it's a really comforting read, and also just kind of, if you're in for kind of a more inquisitive, but you want to learn a little biology and ecology, but you want to do it under a more narrative focus, that book's really awesome.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, so I like that one. And then if you want, as far as sustainability, because I preach sustainability so much,
Yeah.
obviously, um, there's a book called Drawdown, and I think it's like Drawdown, um, colon, there it is, the biggest comprehensive guide to combat climate change or something. And what they did is a bunch of scientists got together and they compiled the top 100 solutions to mitigate climate change. And that's all based off of greatest CO2 reduction, cost factor, and profitability factor. And so it's pretty cool. I mean, it runs the gamut. There's obvious stuff in there like solar and wind, and then there's things in there that are super important that should be just as important as solar, wind, like education to young women, super important and a huge environmental issue, which often only gets labeled as a social issue, which it's both. It's an environmental and social issue,
Yeah.
and economic issue. So it's pretty cool. So if you're interested in kind of learning more about the world of sustainability and something that I use on a daily basis in my job, like I'll flip through that book at my desk and just
Oh, wow.
get
Yeah. Okay.
ideas from and kind of focus on, okay, yeah, this is like a really good kind of campaign that I can run with in this job or something like that. That book's awesome. And it's really
Oh,
interesting. Really
cool.
nice pictures. Big
Yeah.
picture
Oh,
book.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for those recommendations. And then, like I said, the article about book recommendations is on our website, and we've got a lot of other stuff on our website, which is tnconservationvoters.org. You guys like just check out um, different things that we've posted or sign up for our legislative updates. Is there anything else that you want to say before we go?
No, I mean, just um, you can find out more about Tennessee Conservation Voters, which I think this has been mentioned, at tnconservationvoters.org. There you can sign up for regular legislative updates and action alerts. And then as a reminder, TCV is also hosting 2 webinars next week on the Tennessee General Assembly, and visit our Instagram page for the sign up link. And I mean, that goes back to what we were talking about staying informed and trying to learn how the process work. I mean, that's a good 101 crash course on how to get involved and how to learn the system. So
Yeah. Thank you so much for talking. It's been really
yeah.
great.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.